Hey people, and welcome to a video of Townforge time progression. And as you just saw, we found a block and we're about to hit a game tick, as the clock face on the top left hand side indicates. We're, I think, 2 blocks away from hitting a game tick, which is a multiple of 360 blocks. So, by expectation, we would be seeing game ticks 4 times every real life day. And during a week, we would see 7 times 4, that being 28 game ticks in a week, and that would be a whole Townforge year. So you would see this whole clock face turn 360 degrees. Game ticks are important to understand because heavy game logic is resolved during game ticks, such as building activation and inactivation, decay, um, town level mechanics such as determining the level of the city they can upgrade if a lot of buildings activate, but vice versa, if a lot of buildings deactivate, they can actually shrink in size. But cities don't lose any existing specializations, and I think not even unlocks, but I need to double check that. But for example, we see that Helsingard currently is a bailiwick level 4 city, and it has just unlocked military buildings last game tick, and we're going to be seeing an update to the size score of Helsingard as well. Other things that are rewarded at game ticks are badges. Badges are going to be determining all kinds of game achievements. For example, I've sent out invitation codes for bringing in people to the game. I've been researching tech, and these badges determine my level, which at the moment gives me access to new types of blocks, or at least materials. I think I'm missing just one, pink vined marble, which I would be obtaining at level 45. I'm currently 41. But everything else is unlocked for me, so that's nice. I can use a lot of creativity, for example, when creating pixel art. So, what do you need to do before a game tick occurs? You need to make sure you have firewood, which I'm going to be doing right now, and you need to make sure you have food. These are 2 crucial aspects. In addition to this, you need to make sure that your higher end buildings, such as affluent residential, preconditions are met so that they can stay active. For example, I think my affluent manor, which is just a placeholder lot over here, it, if I recall right, requires a craft building inside its range. And Sustad Embassy is a craft building, and it has a huge range because it's 256 by 256 lot with a higher EP, and it's actually so long influence range that we don't even see it. So I need to pick up a better example for this. Does anybody have a craft building over here? Commercial, sawmill, basic residential. Oh, yeah, well, my pixel art museum is a craft building. So there we actually see, it's a little bit hard to see, but this flickering cyan rectangle is the influence range of that craft building, and that's going to affect share generation as well as make certain buildings to be eligible to be activated. So especially when you're building high-end buildings, make sure that they're in the influence range of some really nice prerequisites, because otherwise you might just actually be inactivating your buildings or having them inactivated and making no profit. They don't generate shares or they don't function otherwise. Let's see, is it still 2 blocks until next game check? Let's take a look at my art museum. It's getting building bonuses from sawmill and stonecutter, so it's within the range of this stone cutter over here, and we can see the influence range of it over here flickering. And if it covers over 50% of the lot, which it does, barely, but still it does, it gets a bonus from that. And if we look into the latest update, we can probably see that I actually obtained 213 Townforge gold in the previous game tick 5.6 hours ago. Um, Again, there's a little bit of fluctuation in the block discovery rate, so they don't always match up to what you'd expect them to be founded in. And so we're actually going to be getting a game tick a little bit earlier than you would expect by average. So you need to have food, you need to have firewood. Obviously, if you want to have your buildings eligible to create shares when a game tick is approaching, get that building activated. Well, really, other than that, we're just really waiting for that game tick to occur right now. And since we're mining, or actually I'm not mining at the moment, I just launched my diamond. Ooh, did we just discover 2 game ticks? We're going to see a huge update if we did, which will be reporting all the new stuff that I got at this game tick. Should be seeing a bit of a balance change. And there we go, game tick. A lot of stuff, a lot of consumption of food as well as wood, and we see my buildings decay. So if we go into my personal view, and if you look into my balance, I used to have 6,000 something. I made over 4,000, maybe 5,000 something. Pretty good, huh? But yeah. I didn't gain any levels. I'm not sure if I gained any badges, but let's go and check out what happened. I actually just founded a city earlier today, so these empty flags are from there. My affluent manor was supported by a building of type craft, so it was able to generate 530 payout from the shares in the city, and those 530 come from the town treasury, which currently holds a really nice amount of 246,000 Townforge gold. The city size shrunk a bit, actually. It was 240 something, I think. But it didn't go below the threshold for a bailiwick. But it certainly is not anywhere near a burg. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce all these names, but no cultural buildings yet, people. So, I'm gonna inspect a little bit what else happened. So, also during game ticks, food spoils, so a certain fraction of your food is going to be spoiled. I founded a city and I'm the mayor of that city, so I actually get a subsidy for being a mayor. And also Sigrid, who's mayor of Helsingard, got a subsidy of 262 Townforge gold. Myself, we can actually see that the treasuries become game accounts. We can see Helsingard treasury as well as Sustad's treasury separately. What else happened for me? You have to pay for staff, which is if you have very many lots, you're going to have to pay a little bit of extra to keep them up. I think I did pretty well. I had enough heating materials. As you notice, the game will try to use cheap materials first, like the cheapest type of wood that can be used for warming up your buildings, which is pine for cheapest one. We can see that my Sustad embassy got some really nice bonuses, and that's a real big money generator, 2,574 Townforge gold. But then again, my initial investment to make this look pretty building was quite huge. It's more of an aesthetic building more than just trying to make me a profit. Same goes for example, this Yggdrasilith, the Reborn World Tree, which is an updated version of Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Um, Let's check the rest of my buildings. My stone quarry, stone cutter, consumed. It checked whether I had enough pine and labor and sandstone and food and everything to tick. And since it did, I did have all that necessary material in my inventory. It managed to produce a hefty amount of granite, marble, and sandstone as well. And granite and marble are N-tier materials in stone, so I'm probably going to be looking into if I can create high EP buildings with those, at least on the long run. My premium longhouses generated a nice amount of payout given that they didn't really require that much of an initial investment. My shop and shop is a sawmill, so you see that it consumed labor as well as paid land tax, consumed food and heating materials, and it produced pine, teak, and oak. And in the repair status was updated. And also, roads that connect to active buildings are eligible for shares, so I got some nice payout from my roads as well. I'm not seeing any buildings that wouldn't have been eligible for shares, so I'm actually quite happy with that. However, I'm pretty sure there's players who didn't have everything activate, so I'm gonna take a guess who might have had buildings. Somebody who started playing but then kinda got... I think Johnny's not currently active. Oh, somebody's built a military building already. Well, Johnny had everything active. Let's check. Zartek. He only has an empty lot. I'm really just guessing here. Don't take it personally if I happen to pick you. Let's check. I know that Balvent was very active. Rob has been super active. So maybe we'll pick Rob. Rob's been super active on Discord, so really, and he's been building really impressive stuff. So I'm really curious to see what's up with him. And here's actually an interesting thing. When you think Monero, you think privacy, but inside the game, things are public. Let's see how Rob did. Well, he had some of his food spoil. He's paying for extra salary for staff, so that means he has quite a bit of lots. He's getting quite a lot of payouts from the town treasury, so he's doing really well. It's quite a lot of text to read. Oh, well, there we have it. So, Rob's World Tree Sandstone unfortunately was deactivated because Rob ran out of food. So he didn't have enough in his stash to support all of his buildings, almost everything, but when we scrolled down far enough, we saw that at some point he ran out of grain. I think that was his main source of food, and we can actually take a look at his inventory and select Rob, and we should be seeing that. Oh, he's found an emerald, but he only has 2,400 grain, and grain is quite low in its food value. Each food type has a food value. I think grain has 2 food amount per each grain, so that would be 4,800. And his history said he would have needed Going to Rob. He would have needed 100 more food. So close, yet so far away. Hopefully that's not a very big building that would have been super important to you. And if we go and inspect his current building settings, we can see that that building is going to be in red. There we have it. World Tree Sandstone, I think was the name of it. And that would have been a stone cutter, so it would have produced to him more stone. He's actually producing quite a lot of stuff. We can see like pine, oak, teak, sandstone, granite, and marble. He's producing a lot of stuff, and every tick he's paying 62 Townforge gold to upkeep all of this. And he's also, per each tick, he's producing a total of 500,000 labor. That's also very nice. So he's really going deeply into the game, and I think he's done a really good job. And as we saw from his history, he was probably making quite a bit of money in that previous tick. So, game ticks, you want to make sure your buildings are active, unless you purposefully want to keep them inactive. That's fine. That might be part of your tactic. Um, so, food, wood, check your prerequisites such as influence ranges, and try to build so that you get to benefit from others as well, because it doesn't check for the owner of the building, it only checks for building types. And that's about it. That's a quick glimpse on a game tick. I'm going to send in an order to fix my own buildings if I have the materials to do so. My only inactivated buildings are ones that I haven't even typed yet, so they're just empty lots. Let's see if I have enough materials to repair all my buildings. After buildings fall under 75%, I think, they start to get a lot of penalization in their functions, shares, or production. I'm actually spending 2,000 pine per each game tick, as well as sandstone, almost 500, but I'm generating marble and granite and oak and teak. And I'm generating around 100k labor per each tick. And in comparison to Rob, each game tick costs me much less. He was paying 62, I think, and I'm paying 10.4. But you always need to kind of figure out the scale in which to play. And with this game tick, the harvest season for actually sowing season for grain started. So I'm gonna put in to my windmill. I'm going to be sowing grain, and I think it just mined my repair order for my buildings. I can actually still mine vegetables if I want to, but I prefer grain right now because I think the nutrients for vegetables are a little bit low, because I did sow vegetables in the last game cycle, the game's year really. So I'm going to be benefiting more from sowing grain rather than vegetables. So there we see a huge bunch of repair orders going through, and that's just to keep my buildings in shape. Alright, thanks for watching. That's a quick glimpse at what happens during a game tick. I probably missed a bunch of things, so we're gonna have to do this again. But join me next time, and hope to see you in game. Cheers.